Hi, this is Barbara with Fanbase Press. We're here once again at San Diego Comic-Con 2019, and I'm here with comic book creator Ryan Claytor. Hi, Ryan.
Hey, Barbara. How you doing?
I'm good. Thank you for chatting with me. We're going to be chatting today. So you have a multitude of talents. You are a multi-hyphenate, talented person. But one things I'd like to focus on is Coin-OP CARNIVAL. For our viewers who may be unfamiliar, would you mind telling us a little bit about it?
So essentially, Coin-OP CARNIVAL is about electromechanical coin-operated amusement devices. So put simply, that means old pinball and arcade games that were manufactured prior to 1978. And it's essentially like an illustrated magazine. We have a bunch of different articles in there, everything from an interview with the most prolific pinball designer of all time, Wayne Nyans. We have game reviews, text segments, product spotlights, paper craft models, comics, letters column, just a ton of stuff jammed into 64 pages, and it's all full color with illustrations on every single page.
And you were not alone in creating this, but there was a ton of research and work put into it, as with any comic, but above and beyond. Do you want to talk a little bit about your work with your partner and just the work that went into it?
Sure. So my partner in crime is Nick Baldrige. He was not able to be here at Comic-Con, but he's here in spirit, and they're very much in the book. So we are co-writers. We each write 50% of the articles in the book, and I illustrate the whole thing. And he is a technical genius, and I could not do the book without him. So for his articles, he's essentially critiquing and coaching my illustrations of these diagrammatic drawings so that they are extremely accurate. And then as far as trying to come up with some other examples, like the interview with Wayne, there was this really historically important building, which was where he moved from one company to another, and I started looking around for documentation of this, and it just did not exist, to make a long story short. So essentially I went to Wayne, who is 100 years old but has a memory that is so sharp, and I said, "It sounds like you remember this building very well. Could you describe it to me as an artist, and I could draw it, and then we could iterate on that together?"
Right.
So over the course of several conversations and several weeks of going back and forth about this, we came to a suitable drawing of this building, and that's featured multiple times in the book now. So now, whereas there did not exist documentation of this building before, now we have 3 separate artist renderings of the Chicago Coin-Gottlieb building where Wayne went to work in 1939.
That's really incredible, and to be commended for sure. In addition to the Coin-OP CARNIVAL and the other comics that you have available at Comic-Con, you are also a professor of comics. Do you want to talk a little bit about your work and teaching?
Sure, I'd love to. I am a professor at Michigan State University, and I spearheaded the comic art and graphic novel minor course of study. I also wear a few different hats. I teach the studio courses in the minor, and I'm also the event director for the Michigan State University Comics Forum. So that is an annual event with multiple days for scholars, creators, and fans of the comics medium, and it happens every year in February typically. We have a couple of keynote speakers, one creator keynote speaker and one scholar keynote speaker. So this year we had Seth, the lauded Canadian cartoonist, and we also had Kiana Whitted as our scholar keynote speaker. Next year in 2020 we will have Emil Ferris, who's done My Favorite Thing, It's Monsters, and Nick Susanis, who's done Unflattening, as our scholar keynote speaker. But there are additional hats that I wear as a professor, like podcaster, the MS2 Comics podcast. I'm the host and producer of that, which airs monthly throughout the academic year, so September through May, and then we go dark in the summer months when I'm typically recording for the next season, and then we start up again in September. So we have award-winning cartoonists on our podcast each and every month, and we're about to go into our 4th season of that. And if you're looking for it, we're on pretty much all podcatcher sites, as well as msucomics.libsyn.com.
Wonderful. Really amazing, Ryan. It's seriously, I don't say it lightly, that your work is very much to be commended.
Thank you. I really appreciate the time to talk about it, and I'm equally impressed with your work at Fanbase Press. It's my requisite stop each year. We come to Comic-Con, so I'm glad you're here across the way.
Thank you for your kind words. You've been a wonderful con neighbor. For those who haven't been able to visit us at Comic-Con and that would like to check out your work, what is the best way for our viewers to find you?
Sure. My personal website is elephanteater.com, like a person who eats elephants, and my new book that I was telling you about has its dedicated website, COIN-OP CARNIVAL, no dashes or spaces or anything. Yep.
Excellent. Well, Ryan, as always, it's a pleasure to chat with you. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Really appreciate it.
Of course. Stay tuned. We're going to be talking more in depth to Ryan later this year about his work on COIN-OP CARNIVAL. So stay tuned for that Fanbase feature on the Fanbase Weekly podcast. But for now, this has been Barbara at San Diego Comic-Con. You can find more interviews like this one at fanbasepress.com.